What is going on, everybody? My name is Fahan Ahmed and welcome to my YouTube channel. And today's video we are going to continue our TypeScript journey. And as you know that in previous video we have learned like how to solve TypeScript and how you can run a watch mode in a TypeScript and what is basically TypeScript. We have understand so far the definition of TypeScript and why we need TypeScript and is it worth it to learn the TypeScript and this type of thing that we have covered so far. And in this video, we are going to cover two major things, I believe. So the first thing that we are going to cover is like TypeScript type. So you know that if we take like two words like TypeScript and JavaScript, so the script is a common, but the different word or you can say like different meaning is like that TypeScript support type. So we are going to talk about type and we are also going to talk about tsconfig.json. So I believe like you have seen this type of file in a lot of projects. So in a lot of projects you have seen like we have a tsconfig.json which basically hold up all the compiling configuration for TypeScript. So let's see that how we can use it and what are the types in TypeScript. So without wasting any time, let's start our video and let's jump to our screen. Alright, so without wasting any time, I'm going to open my VS Code because we are going to use it. So here you can see like this is our previous folder which we are working on, which is tscube. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create some new folder and I'm going to move all this file from here and paste it there and come back here and so I'm going to go inside this folder and going to open our VS Code here and as well normally there are up to you like that if you prefer the connected terminal with your ID, like you can see that there is a terminal option, so you can click on new terminal and you can use a separate terminal. So I like this way, but like when I have a simple script that is running, so I will prefer this one. So you can select the git bash from here and let me close this here. So we have the same thing here as well. So let me just small this thing, let me just zoom out a little bit. So like you can see clearly and we have some more space to like code. So let's talk about like our first topic which we are going to cover is tsconfig file. So what is tsconfig file? So you have already seen that what we do. So like we have multiple files. So instead of always providing all file name and configuration option to tsc, most config option may be specified in a tsconfig.json. So tsconfig file you need to create inside your project root directory. So like if you like you have an already existing you are working on a already created project, so hopefully you are going to see a file which is called tsconfig.json. So that basically indicate that directory is the root of our TypeScript project, and when you just go inside your terminal and just type tsc in a directory, and it will start with all the configuration options from tsconfig file. And you can also pass -b and or like dash project to tsc with a path to directory container tsconfig. For example, like you have a very big folder which contain a lot of small projects, and every project contain like multiple tsconfig files. So you can use dash project flag to like pass to the and tell the TypeScript compiler that we need to like compile this particular project. And let's talk about like how we can like create this. So TypeScript compiler generally like is strongly recommended to use for TypeScript projects wherever possible. IDs such as VS Code respect their configuration when giving you intelligence feature. So so how we can create it? So the easiest way is to like you can use again like if you want to use this terminal and this terminal. I know it's got confusing, so like just for you guys, I'm just going to say goodbye this terminal. So let me close this, and we are here, right? So this is our connected terminal to our VS Code. So when you need to like tsconfig file, so the easiest way is to like tsc and dash init. So like you have seen so far npm init, so we have like tsc init. So this tsc command line indicates an init command to create a new tsconfig file, and that nearly create a tsconfig file and will contain a link to configuration docs as well as most of allow types of configuration options with one line comment. Briefly describe their use. So I will generate a fully commented TypeScript file. So what this means? So as you can see that as soon as my TypeScript I run this command tsc-init, so it create a new file called tsconfig.json, and you can see that the target is defaultly set to like AS26 and the module and its string, and there are some further stuff. So when you open this file, so you can see that there are some options that uncomment. So this is the same option that it's shown in the like this when we create this tsconfig file. So you can see them here as well. So in order to run a project, what you need to do, like you have one tsconfig folder and not folder, sorry, file, and let me create a new folder which is called src, so which basically like contain all our app code or every code that I'm going to write. So I will put inside a like source folder. So it is a like proper way to like working with a TypeScript or any particular JavaScript or any language or any project. So it depends, like every language has its own way. So like I believe like TypeScript, normally you are going to see this type of style of folder structure. So we are going to use that, and you can see that let's explore the like tsconfig file. So you can see that this is our tsconfig file, and there are some options that is like uncommented. And if you want to like know that what this particular method do or particular configuration do, so you can also read their respective comment. So like on line number 79, you can see that strict true, so which means like enable all strict type checking options. So this is a option that normally if you want to, if you are using like tsc a style where that we are using in our previous video, so you need to pass this thing from a command line argument, but now we are going to use this style. So what we're going to do now, so because we have a folder, so we need to tell our project that we are going to use this particular file or this particular folder for our source directory. So in order to do that, we need to find some options. So you can see that on line 22 there is a root directory. So what this root directory means, so you can read its comment, specify the root folder within your source file. So I'm going to like type src. So this dot slash means current directory, and dot means current directory, and slash source in this particular folder. And I'm going to like create a new file inside this called like app.ts or like index.tx. Let me call this app. You know what? I go with app.ts, right? So this is our file, and right now I'm just going to just log some, I don't know, random stuff. So this is log. Alright, so let me save this, and let me save this as well. Alt Shift F for like formatting the VS Code. inside like on Windows. So this we have selected so far root directories, and I have also need something like out directory. So what is the meaning of directory? So out directory is you can read the again comment. Specify an output folder for all emitted files. So whenever this file compiled, so in which folder you want that particular file. So I am going to say like dist, which means like everything that you compile, just put in on this particular folder. It doesn't matter if this folder exists here or not. TypeScript will basically check if this folder exists, so it will just simply put that file on that folder, and if the folder is not exist, so it will create the folder and then put that particular file. So in our case, like f.ts uh, inside our like folder, right? So I think this is enough for now, and you can see like changes as well. So like this target means like the set the JavaScript language version for immediate JavaScript and include compatible library declarations. So this is basically like you have know that ES 2022, ES 2018, and there are a lot of number you can like change it. And let's move to forward toward this our course or our journey. So let's see that how we can use this particular tsconfig.json. So now you just need to like say tsc, and when you run this, so you can see that inside our this folder, uh, when our just configuration runs, so it will create a app.js, and you can see use strict because we have used strict 2 inside our tsconfig, and this is our code, right? So this is what tsconfig or tsconfig.json file. But if you want to learn more, so on the line 3 you can see that there is a link. So you just need to like copy this particular link, and if you paste that link on your browser, so it will redirect you to this to TypeScript tsconfig reference. So there you can like read everything and every option you can find here regarding your project configuration. Like if you are like working in a project and and the TypeScript config is not created by you, and you need to like you found some new like you found include, and you want to understand what this include there, so you can just go on this documentation. You can read about that. You can see that this include means specify an array of a file name or pattern include in the program, and this file name are resolved relative to a directory contained tsconfig. So this is like source and ts and a lot of stuff. And again you can see that we are still following this particular example is following the same pattern. So you can see that the source, inside the source it has a client and a server and some files, ts file, and these are the unit tests, and these are the script that a lot of people use for like scripting their databases and a lot of stuff. So here you this if you have any question regarding or any sort of configuration you need, so you can go on that particular documentation. So we have covered so far like I believe like you have a very beginner understanding of tsconfig.json. So now let's move to our next topic, which is like exploring the TypeScript types. So what are the types? So as the name suggests, like everything in TypeScript like deals with types. So since the TypeScript is the type version of JS, so we can assign type to a variable when they are declared. This makes your code more scalable and reliable, and you can check that your code run properly before runtime. So if you work with JavaScript before, you know that it has 8 types like string, number, null, undefined, object, symbol, big 8, and boolean. So JavaScript is dynamically typed, which means that it doesn't know the type of your variable until like runtime, and variable can change their type even if even if we change them intentionally, error bugs often raise. So TypeScript basically help us with this problem by adding static type to the code. So if we talk about the categories of type, so in TypeScript we have kind of like three types, which is like any and built-in and user-defined. So if we talk about any, the any type is a superset of all TypeScript data types, and it is the loosest one available to us. So let me go on the screen. As you can see the screen, so uh, normally like you have like let, and let's say a, and colon if you say any, and equal, and let's say 1 2 3, and log 1 2 3, and then that a equals to real 1 2 3, and then log a and a. So I'm going to say tsc and dash ww, so it will like start the watch mode. So you can see that this is our code. So let me run this. So I need a new terminal now. So you know what? I'm going to open this terminal. So like it will. So let me type node disp. So you can see that there is our log, and this is our string 1 2 3, and this is our integer 1 2 3. But we have used like any. So it means that a variable can be of any type. If we use this type, it will override type checking. So like if you want to use any variable that type doesn't matter, so basically you can simply just type any. So it will work similar in a way that we have variable work in JavaScript. So then let's move to like the built-in. So built-in, like its types include numbers, string, Boolean, and define null and one, and which means like uh, we have a lot of types which is built-in inside, like similarly in JavaScript. And there are some user-defined types, include enum, array, interface, classes, and tuples. I believe let's dive into each of those a bit more and how to use TypeScript type. So as you know that I just show you this example, so let me comment out here. So this is just to show that a little glimpse of any, but let's start and uh, start working on the real thing and how we can like assign a particular type to any variable. So to assign a type in a TypeScript, you need a colon, the name of the type, an equal sign, and the value of the variable. So let's look at an example. So suppose you want to create a variable which is the age, right? So normally in JavaScript we say age, and let me just put a number here and 45. So this is a normal way of ES6 style of creating a variable named age. But if you want to like, so let me comment this. But in TypeScript, if you want to like create age, so you are going to say age, and then you need a colon and the name of a type. So like age would be a number. I know like age is a string because age, so age is a string, but it's not really talk about the memes. So let's move to like age. Age is a number, and then we need an equal sign, and like we can set this to this, and let me go here, and because you can see that I'm running a watch mode, so it is like compiling the code in real time. So as soon as I just hit enter, so it will run this and compile the code here again. So it is number, so let me log age, and let me go here and let me run this again. So you can see 45. You know what? I'm going to remove this as well. Alright. So this is how you can like set a type to a particular variable that you want to do. So the TypeScript support decimal, hexadecimal, octal, and binary literal JavaScript. All number are floating points values. So basically, we have like if you like create a let's start with number, and because you can see that if we have just save a simple integer, but what if you want to like save the floating point number? So you can use this particular like number, so you can still use the number, and if you want to like save the hex value, so basically we have a one data type which is number, and that number contains any value like hex, bin, and float and number, right? So let me say like 0x b double e f, so 0x b, and let's create bin, and let me just change it to like hex, and this one is bin. Save it. You can see that there is our compiled code, and let me run this. So there is our value. So you can see that we have used bin, hex, and number, and it will convert it into like their original value inside when we run this code, right? So this is just a number. So let's comment here. These are the number. So basically, the purpose of showing this example is to like you can use their same number types, and that number type contain like float, hexadecimal, base, and number. So what about the next type? The next type is Boolean. So the Boolean is my favorite because Boolean values function just like they do in JavaScript. So let's yes, and you just need to type the Boolean equals true, and similarly let no, and the same Boolean equals false. Save and just log. Actually my keyboard is not working properly. The shift button is kind of like jamming, so I believe like I need to replace my keyboard. So here, and here is our compile code, and notice you can see that it is like creating a very minimized code inside FJS. So you can see we have their proper spacing here, but so these are the Boolean values. So just let's quickly run this and see that it's working. So you can see that simply true false, right? So this is how you can like use a Boolean value inside like TypeScript. So what about like we have covered so far number, Boolean. What about string? So like you have string. String is also an easiest one. So let my name so this is how you can like use the string. These are the like basic things that you need to understand before like moving into TypeScript. So let's about the like really hard, because so far you have seen very easy types like single numbers and any. So let's talk about array. So what if we want to use an array in TypeScript? So what are the arrays? So array are a collection of same objects. So you can declare a type array in two ways, like either with a data type followed by square brackets, array approach with the like array and element type inside like greater than less than sign, and you can also assign multiple types to one array using a like pipe operator, or create a multi-dimension array to save one array into another array using the like square operator. So how we can do this? So let me show you an example. So let me create an array so we can use the const as well. So by the way, so you can see that here I'm using let and here I'm using const, so it doesn't matter because I already told you that if you are using like if you are inside a TypeScript, you can use the valid JavaScript easily. So let's go with the const so you can have an idea that we can use the const here as well. So let me name my array, which is like I don't know, like say. So in order to like you know that we want to create in TypeScript, the numbers is our variable name, and then colon, and we need to specify a type. So like I want a type which is like array. Let's say this number will contain numbers with a square bracket and equal a square bracket and say 1 comma 2 comma 3 and log this, not numbers, and let's see that it's work or not. So you can see that we have a proper array. But what if try to push another number like dot push, and this is 4, so it will work or not? So you can see that in the TypeScript you will get errors if you have any inside your code on your ID. So as you can see that I just put an integer 4, so you can see that there is no error. But what if I just pass this 4 inside like quotation and just like mistakenly I just pass this 4, so you can see that there is a red line bottom here, and it is saying that argument of type script is not assignable to a parameter of type number. So like if I click on save and try to compile it, so you will get this error also on your compiler, and inside your compiled code you will see that it is compiled, but you will still getting the error here because TypeScript knows that TypeScript believes that the developer knows better than me, so that's why it will compile the code. So but what like if I want to like both types, I want to use this type and as well as the same type as well. So how we can do this? So let me copy this here and let me create another array to show you that how we can use it. So this is a simple example, like if you want to use a single type of, but what if you want to use a multiple type array? So let me call this like say data, and it will this data contains like two things. The first thing is number, and we need to like say 5, and then string and this. And let me copy this, paste it here, paste it here. Right. So let me remove this here. Let me explain this weird syntax to you. So what is happening right now on line 44? So let me zoom a little bit. So on line 44, we just create a new variable with the help of const, and the name of the variable is data, and then we have like two parentheses, and inside the parentheses or round bracket, because there are some other people that have some problem with understanding this type of word. So in round brackets or in parentheses, we have two types. It can be number, it can be string, and there is a pipe sign, so which is just denoting like or. So you can we can like this data can accept number or string, and then after we have a square bracket which is denoting that you can use, which is denoting basically this square bracket that it's an array, right? So this is this means like you can use a number in a string, and that data variable is an array. So that is why like we have 1 2 3, and we just log the data and then we push the data, and let's log it again. So now you can see that this time we are passing a string 4, but is not giving us any error. So let me save this, and you can see that here our compile code. So let me go here and let me zoom a little bit here. Let me clear this and let me run this. So you can see now this is containing a like 1 2 3 4. What about like you have 3 4 5 6? So how we can do this? I know that this type of question is in your mind, so I'm just going to the last example, like 3 type of data. So I'm just say data, new data and new data, and now we have another field which can be like date. So now number string date. So now it also can accept date. So let me go here and just remove this here. Let me type new, and here the JavaScript function date, and let me save this and let me run this code. So node just like the ist or then here. So you can see that we can accept the date here as well. And if I just remove this date from here, so you can see that this new date on line 56 is underlined, and say that number argument or type div is not assignable to parameter of type string or number, right? So this is how you can say. And if you have a number of operators, so you can see like pipe, and in some cases that you don't want to check this type, so you can just simply put any and then square bracket, so it will also work. So this is how you can like deal with the array. So let's move to our next data type, which is like tuple. So tuple are not like arrays, but we can define the types of data that are stored in each position. Just basically a tuple is a type array with a predefined length and type for each index. And tuple are great because they allow each element in the array to be known type of value. To define a tuple specific the type of element in an array. So for like each element in an array, right? So let me give you a really quick example. So as you can see my screen, so I'm going to create a variable my tuple, and the type would be like so when you are creating a tuple, so you need to make sure that you are passing a type inside, kind of like array type is syntax. So the first type would be like number, and the second type I want in this array is boolean, and this last thing type is string. So let me put a colon here, and this is good to go. So you can see that as you know that this watch tank is working here, and it is also working here. So let me go on desktop, and actually I accidentally closed this. So our tuple, and this is our tuple, which is my tuple, and let me go here and let's initialize. So it is I just declare a tuple, and I just say to like TypeScript that my tuple contains 3, and the length of my tuple is 3, and 3 values. And the first value should be a number, the second is boolean, and the next one is a string. So let's initialize it. So let me call my tuple and let me equal it and pass it. The first number is like 5, and the second I try to pass a string, and then I try to pass a value. So here you can see that it is giving me error. Why? Because On the second index, which is 0, 1, on the first index or the second element of this tuple need to be like type of boolean. So that's why it is giving me error, and similarly uh, the two is because it is expecting a string here. So you can see that it is showing an error, which is a good sign that is working properly. And if I say a b c d, so it is good, because as I already told you that we have a specific length. We have a like length 3. So what if I just try to push anything else in this array? So let's see what happens. I don't know, but let's find out. So let me put 5, 5 like 4, and let me run this. So you can see that 5 to ABCD, and then the 4 is here. So what is happening right now, because we have a fixed length of array here, and as we can see that the first is number boolean string. So if I just change this value from like 0 to 2 index, so it will showing me error. And after that, when I just push something here, so it will just simply push inside our tuple, because it is no longer need to be checked that particular tuple. And what if like we want to like create something a tuple that no one can like push anything to our array? So how we can do this? So basically, as you can see that this is our array, but I just want to make sure that no one can push anything to like this. So maybe there is a thing called read only. So what if I just say read only here and try to save this? So now you are getting that error. That's because this particular tuple can only have a length of 3, and it's a read only, so you cannot like use array type of method inside this tuple. So this is why it is showing us this error, which say property push does not exist on the type read only, so only number boolean string. So it's just saying as we can only assign 3 values. So what if like I just duplicate this row and like say this actually is a string. So let me just save this. So now it is not giving me error, and if I run this, so hopefully we will get the latest value, which is this. So this is how like tuple work with the read only. And if you don't put the read only, so it will act like a kind of like weird behavior that you can find hard to understand, because as I told you that we need to like tuple is a specified length, so this is the length. And now after adding a read only, so we can only add this 3 length of values inside this tuple, and nothing more, and I believe nothing less. So let's check the nothing less condition. So yeah, so you can see that it is giving error. So it has 2 elements, but target requires 3. So you can see that we can now add more and not less. So this is the benefit of using the read only. The next thing, name tuple. So what that means? So like I believe like you have seen this example. So let me say const and graph, and it's basically a graph, and it's an x coordinate and y coordinate. So the first coordinate is number and comma, and the y also a number, and let's assign a value. So the first value is kind of like 55.6, and the second value is 44.7, and log like x. Let's log the graph, and let's run this file. You can see that we have two values, 55.6 and 5. So now how we can access this value? So it is really easy. So you just need to like use the destructuring tuple syntax. So what you need to do, like you need to create variable const and x comma y and equal graph. And now if you try to like log this x comma y, so you are good to go. So let me go here and run this again. So you can see that now the value is outside from this braces, which means like square bracket. So which means that this is a string, or it's just a single value, or in easy way to show you that I just put some space here. So now if I run this code again, you can see that. So this is not an tuple anymore, right? So this is the tuple. So void is just like subtype of undefined. It is a return type that can be like substitute with different types when needed. Normally you are going to see void with functions. So like you have a function that will just basically log something or print something, and that function will not return anything. So like so you are going to like see that there is a colon and void, so which means that this function will run some operation, but this function will not return anything to you. So you cannot get anything from that particular function and store it in a variable, and then you will for later. So we have a thing called void, right? So similarly, like if you have ever experienced with Java or any other like C syntax based language, I guess, so you often use this void thing. So let me give you an example of void. So let's me create a function. Let me really quickly call this. So you can see that I just created a function which is basically arrow function with a data type of void and just console log hi, and I created a new variable on line 79 which is a message, and the type is a string, and when I hovering on it, it say there is a problem. You can see because I know that because there is a red line and it says that type void is not assignable to TypeScript, right? So because it's a void, so let me you have an idea and I might say, hey, I just like say I'm going to put a void here, so it will solve my problem. So I just say alright, you can go with that and just say log and just print your message, and let me just message colon message, and our code is compiled, and let's run this. You can see there is message is undefined. So there is no meaning of to assign a void to a variable, as only null or undefined is assignable to void. So whenever like your function is returning a null or undefined, so like you can use the void. So this is the easiest example of void, right? So let's talk about our next data type, which we are going to discuss is enum. So what is enum? So an enum is a special class that represent a group of constants, or in other words, you can say like unchanged variable. Enums come in two flavors: string and numeric. So let me give you an example, and then let's start with numeric. So let me add a comment here, and so the example of the enum is because we are discussing the like numeric enum, so the by default enum will initialize the value to 0 and add 1 to each additional value. So what that means, so let me show you. So whenever you want to create an enum, so you just need to type enum and then the name of your enum. So let me type. Alright, so we are normally, it is a best practice to use the Pascal case here, which means every first word is capital, So I'm going to say CAR cardinal directions, and we have 4 directions, which is north, and let's add one, and we are separating them by comma, east, south, and then the last, which is west. So this is how you can create enum, and you can see that we have no error. And if you go and see the app.js, so there is a very complex code written here. So if you want, you can also read that code inside the compiled file. So let's back to the topic, and you can see that we have just created a cardinal directions enum. So how we can use it? So you just need to say simple let like current and like my direction is, so my current direction is equals to, and you can see that, and you can use like dot, and we have everything. So I can type anything. So let me like choose the south, and let me log this, and if I run this node dot slash dist slash app.js, so you can see it says 2. So why it's 2 here? So it starts with 0, 0, 1, and because we have at south, so there is 2. But as I told you that when enum will initialize, the first value will start 0. But you can set the value of the numeric enum and have it to like auto increment. So like for example, I just want to assign this like just start from like 5. So this one is 5, 6, 7, 8. So if I run this, so let me copy this. I don't know, it will give me an error. So I'm going to comment the first one. Otherwise, I need to change the name of a variable. So you can see that now my cardinal direction is starting from 5. So because it is auto increment, the number of items inside the enum. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So which means 5, 6, 7, 8. So let's see which number we get on, let's say west, and save it and go, and let me run this again. So you can see we are getting 8. So how? So 5, 6, 7, 8. So this is how the numeric enum will work. So this is a simple example of like how you can use the enum. So let me give you a real world example that's how you can use this enum. So normally we have status code in our application. So status status code, again the Pascal case, and then so let me say not found, and we can also set like different values for each enum. So let's say 404, and then SXS, SU, double C, ESS, XS, which is 200, and then bad request, which is 400. It's the client side error, and let's say not found, which is 404. Alright, so we have already 404 assigned to not found. So let me change this to like accepted, A double C E P T E D accepted, which is 202. So we just create an enum. So normally we have a status code in our application, so we can use this enum. And similarly, if you want to use it, so you just need to like create a variable, and let me say like status code, or you know what, the we can just simply go with this thing. So status code dot, we have everything like not found and all shift down, and this one is going to like access. And if I show you, there are the whole code that basically like TypeScript is taking care for us. So this is how you can use it. So if I run this code again, so you can see that 404 and 200. So this is the numeric enum. But we have also called string enum. So how we can use it? So like if I take the same example, and which is a cardinal direction, but this time I'm going to change with this simple like directions. And now if I want to assign a string value, because enum can also contain string, this is more common than numeric enum because of their readability and intent, right? So I just need to put two inverted commas, and here it is. To copy this, and here is our west. So this is another way to like use the enum. So you can simply use it like log and directions dot, and you can now get anything. So like let's use the south, and if you save it and run the code again, you can see that we have south here. So this is how you can use the enum. And normally we can use enum if you have like some you want to create a group of constant or unchanged variables. So this is the best way you can use it in a TypeScript. So this is the enum. I hope that you understand. If you have any question regarding this type of thing, so you can feel free to comment here, and I'm trying to like help you regarding this enum. So far like we have covered so many things in this video. So I believe like that I believe that you are not going to understand like everything here, but if you understand some few basic thing here like string, array, tuple, and string, boolean, number, which is like the essential of any application, so you will be like really good, and the purpose of the video is almost complete. That you have understand the basic understanding of how we can like assign a particular value to a variable. And there is another thing that I just want to show you in a really quick way, which is infer. So what this infer means, like let me create a variable and let me say that a, and the value is like say he double hello, and let me say a is 123. So you can see that I didn't assign any tag to this variable. uh, as you can see that normally if I run this code inside a JavaScript, so it will work fine, but because the TypeScript will give us an error on our like this runtime before running the code, so it is as inferring the type string from the value, that we have this value and the type is getting the type from this value. And when we just trying to say that the number is not assignable to type string because it is now accepting only string, and this is called infer. So also is just inferring the type from its value. So I hope that everything is clear regarding the infer. The infer is a very easy topic, I believe. So in the future and the next video, we are going to discuss more things. So till then, like be safe and keep learning. And I'll meet you in a very next video. So Allah Hafiz. Bye bye. Peace.